We're going to talk about potentially the most important aspect of your character that will enable you to either succeed later in life or to fail later in life. Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead, and we look at mental health, physical health, and homesteading, living the healthier, happier, simpler life. And one of the most important parts of a human's character is their ability to delay gratification. Now, if you're going to be successful in life, you will be an individual who has the ability to let go of gratification right now for something better in the future. But on the contrary, someone who has no ability to delay gratification would be someone who is immediately, they see what they want, it looks like it'll taste good, it will feel good, it will get them high, whatever it is, and they will partake of it because it will give them gratification right now, even if it will be a detriment to their future prosperity, their future relationships, whatever it is, they will take hold of that. So the question is, are there things that we can actually do to actually strengthen us in the area of delayed gratification, and also are there things that actually can be detrimental and can make us more likely to fail in this area and actually to struggle for the rest of our future life? Well, let's look at the research. We notice this study on phone time and delayed gratification. Researchers compared young children who were what they called mobile media users with those who did not use mobile media devices. And children who use mobile media were substantially worse than non-mobile media users when it came to being able to delay gratification. So being on mobile media devices, maybe that would be something like an iPad or an iPod, or being on a cell phone. And being on these devices can inhibit your ability to delay gratification, meaning they can make you more likely to be a person who wants instant gratification. I want something and I want it now. Now, I think there's a number of factors on why this is potentially true. You see, in real life, as you spend time with human beings, as you live the way humans lived for, well, all of history, humans would, grow gardens. They would plant a seed in the ground, and they would not expect that it would immediately give them whatever they wanted. They knew that they planted that seed in the ground, they would have to, do everything they can to protect and care for that seed and water it, and it would take weeks and even months to receive fruit of their labor. But when it comes to things like the internet, it doesn't work that way. Whatever you want, you get it right now, almost immediately. So you want to see a funny, cartoon, boom, you get to see it. If you want to look at pornography, boom, you get to see it. There's no effort that goes into it. It is just instant gratification. And you think about it, that goes totally contrary to normal human interaction. You don't get what you want from everybody all the time and immediately. And so you could see that this could be a training course in causing yourself to be very weak in the area of delaying gratification. I mean, think of something as simple as notifications on your phone, or a beep every time you get a text or an email or a vibration. These things, what they do is they reinforce this, oh, I better check, what is it? Did somebody write to me? Oh, did someone like my pic on Instagram or whatever it is? You see, doing this and constantly having these things that you do not delay gratification, we're actually training ourselves in a culture that has an inability to delay gratification. And then the result can be that we maybe blame people if we don't end up getting what we want in life. So thinking about this, we recognize there's one thing that you can do. The American Academy of Pediatrics some years ago said that up to the age of 2, children should have, do you know how much screen time they should acquire or watch? Well, a few years ago they said children up to the age of 2 should watch 0 minutes of any kind of screen, or so they should just avoid screens altogether. Now they've changed it a little bit here and there, but the reality is I think they were actually right back then. Now you may have heard that some of the tech executives like Steve Jobs and various others in Silicon Valley, this is the area there in California where they make the iPad, they make the iPhone, Apple and other tech companies, some of their tech executives do not allow their own children to use the devices that they are selling to the masses. And do you think it's because they really don't want their kids to succeed in later life? They don't want them to know how to use phones or computers? No, they know that their kids will learn to use them. They're so user-friendly. That's really not a problem for their future. But they don't want them to be held back in life by these devices. We're going to look at the research right now that reveals that even by the age of 3, their basic ability to delay gratification seems to be already set in motion and actually be the factor by the age of 3 that will foretell their success 40 years later. This is incredible. So you may have heard of something called the marshmallow study. It's just the cutest thing to watch. Maybe you've seen it, where these little children are taken by researchers into the lab and they're put at a table, and on that table there's simply a plate. There's really nothing in the room other than the table, the chair, the child, the plate, and on top of the plate is obviously a marshmallow. And what they do in this particular study is they tell the child that, well, if I'm going to leave the room, and if you can wait and eat, and you don't eat this marshmallow, when I come back in the room, you will get 2 marshmallows. So this is like the basic test of delayed gratification. Can you delay your instant gratification for a future benefit? In this case, doubling your income, or not doubling your income, doubling what you're able to eat. But you can see how this can extrapolate to many areas of life, whether it's financial or otherwise. And so what ends up happening, and you've maybe seen the videos, you can watch them, where the marshmallow experiment, these little kids, they take in these little kids, 3 to 5, and they sit them down and they tell them, okay, if you don't eat it, when I come back and you get 2, and you watch the little kids, and some of them, they're just like, they're like, it's like a war. I don't even want to look at it, right? Because I know if I look at it, it's going to tempt me, right? And then other ones, they will actually like really tempt themselves. They'll go down and they'll like, they smell the marshmallow, you know, like they're just putting themselves in temptation's way. And then other ones, they go even further. They lick it. Now, hey, I didn't eat it. I just licked it, right? I got to taste it, but I didn't actually eat it. And some of the other children, before the researcher even finishes their sentence, they grab the thing and they just stick it in their mouth. A child who has literally 0 ability to delay gratification. And when we see these things, we think, oh, how cute. You know, that's so cute. That child has no ability to delay gratification. It looks cute, but when we look at what happened when they actually went forward and studied these young people's lives for years and even decades to come, it is actually a very sobering picture. So what did they find? Well, back in the 60s and 70s, an experiment was conducted looking at delayed gratification. Children aged 3 to 5 years old were offered a treat that could be eaten either immediately, or if they waited roughly 15 minutes, they could actually have 2. And multiple follow-up studies were done over the course of 40 years. And they revealed that those who had delayed gratification as children did better on their SATs, they had less stress in life, less obesity, and better social skills. So this is incredible. To think that they followed these young people for 40 years, and the character that had been formed in early life, many times we think, oh, they're just a 3-year-old, come on, they're almost a baby, don't worry about that, they'll grow up. Well, they will grow up, but they generally will grow up with the very same character that they had by the age of 3. That is an incredible thought, that the way they were able to delay gratification or not able to delay gratification at the age of 3 would foretell how they would do on their SATs later in life, whether they would become obese later in life, how their social skills would be later in life. And the question is why? You see, because it makes perfect sense that if I can't delay gratification, it's going to be hard for me to interact with other people, because when they don't do what I want, I'm going to struggle with them, right? It makes sense that if you don't give me what I want my instant gratification. If you don't do that, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to struggle, I'm going to have stress, I'm going to have anxiety, I'm going to be angry with you. This makes perfect sense. So if you don't have children, this is something to consider, that in their early years, giving the child whatever they want, especially cell phones. One of the things people are so excited about is, my 1-year-old is a genius on a cell phone. They may be, but the trouble is you're teaching them to not be able to have strong delayed gratification. I mean, there's videos, you've probably seen them on YouTube, that show, you know, someone takes a cell phone away from an infant and the child goes nuts until they hand it back to them. That child does not have the ability to delay gratification, though it may seem cute as people watch it being fully pacified just by handing the phone back to the baby. Yet the reality is, we can see that chances are that child is going to struggle for the rest of its life. That doesn't mean we can't be changed. And we're going to actually now look at the research on one of the things that may enhance your ability to delay gratification. But we want to train our children as young as possible, especially before the age of 3, because by the age of 3, their character is actually established. It can change later in life, but it is so much harder to change it in the later years than it is to actually train them well. And it's wise to train up a child in the way it should go so that later on it won't depart from the good training that you've actually given to your child. And so, is there any research on things that we can do? Yes, the answer is yes. Check this out. And it has to do with what you're seeing right here. Notice what the research says. Well, one of the greatest predictors of success in later life is a child's ability to have strength in the area of delayed gratification. And what about this? Viewing nature and delayed gratification. A study was conducted to discover if looking at nature could help to increase the power of delayed gratification. Subjects were to look at pictures of nature, mountains or lakes, or pictures of buildings in the city. They discovered that those who looked at the pictures of nature exhibited substantially more power of delayed gratification and self-control. What an incredible thought, that literally looking at a lake, looking at the mountains, looking at nature can actually enhance your ability to delay gratification. Now, you say, Chad, it didn't say looking at lakes and mountains. It said looking at pictures even. So simply having your children look at a picture book of these things can actually enhance their ability to delay gratification. Now, how much better do you think it might be if they actually spent time in nature? Sure, we don't all live on lakes and these kinds of things. We don't all live by the mountains, but we can take time on nearly a daily basis, if we will take the time, to get out in nature. And simply being out in nature, and by the way, when you're out in nature, unless you bring a cell phone with you, what are you typically not doing? Well, you're not on the mobile media devices, you're not on the computer, or you're not on the cell phone or the iPad or what have you. And so what you're doing is your child is getting out and they're using their muscles, they're using their mind, they're learning to climb, and they're going on a swing, and they're climbing a tree, and they're doing all these various things that are actually beneficial for their mental health and for their ability to delay gratification. So you may be thinking, okay, that's great for children, but what about adults? Well, the same thing is, it is beneficial for all of us, regardless of our age, to spend time in nature. There's so many lessons, and we've already showed several with Health and Homestead, and we'll show many more. The research is out that there are benefits to spending time in nature. We are getting so far away, so far removed from the natural life that humanity has always lived. And now as we become more, citified and spend time outside of nature, we're so disconnected with it that we don't even know what to do with it. And for many people, it actually scares them. You take them out of the city, you put them in a country, beautiful environment, and they're actually afraid of every noise and every cricket or whatever it is. It actually brings horror. But the reality is, in time, they will sense the peace. They will sense a presence of God that we actually sense in nature. And it will actually enhance your ability, my ability, and even the children's ability to delay gratification. Now, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. God bless and have a fantastic day.